Well, hello there, YouTube. Welcome to a fog misty 61 degree Thursday, the 21st of July. It feels great out here. You walk along, that little mist kind of hits you in the face. You see all the little fog mist in the mountains back there, if you can even make that out. You can barely see the mountains. Man, almost feels like a fall morning. Holy moly. All right, let's start off a Thursday. Welcome to the day. So what did we drive today? You can probably tell by the cool air sound. You know what we drove. You don't hear the whoa, 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 the old war wagon.
Yeah.
And you gotta turn it.
Good old gal, though.
Yep. She serves her purpose. Just need to get some skins on her.
Yeah.
Sooner than later.
Yeah, I don't think the heat would be good for the tires.
Yeah.
Make them go away faster than they are.
Oh yeah. Don't need nothing going wrong going down the freeway.
No, definitely not in.
Yeah. I was talking about that yesterday, you know, when it gets hot enough that you wonder, would I be in trouble if I had a mechanical?
Yeah. The sun is shining.
Yep, it's beautiful.
It's going to be nice.
71 here in the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
My watch says it's 66.
Yeah, don't know where it's reading from, but
Yeah,
where we're at.
The sun hitting the blacktop, that's what it's reading.
Yep.
All right, Mama.
All right.
Love you, see you, bye.
I love you.
Bye-bye now.
Mm.
Newer version spiders, F3s, are under the panel that you open to check your oil. And on the older 1330s, so I want you to be amazed at the relationship here. Here's your dipstick. Here's your instructions. Follow that to the letter of the law. Never, ever, ever, under any circumstances, be overfilled with oil. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be your lawnmower. Never overfilled. That thing is pretty out in the sun, isn't she? So let's take her among making sure the transmission doesn't throw any codes or anything. I need to, he wants to, all I can do is ride it and say it handles good or it doesn't. Wants to know if it needs a alignment. But unfortunately, the only way to verify for sure is to hook it up. And if I'm going to hook it up, the actual adjustment is the easiest part. So you would get an alignment. The setup time is where the time's at. We'll see how she runs. I don't know if it was purchased from here, but it's never been in for any kind of service. So when I see those codes, I see that a lot when people are using non-BRP oil. I don't know what it is. In one case, I have an idea what it is, but I won't mention what that is, because technically, if it meets the specs, they say, this all goes back to the 80s where Honda got sued for singling out an oil brand. So ever since then, you know, if it meets the specs and you keep all your receipts while you're under warranty, they have to cover it. It's sad that it's that way. Tell people this is what you need to use, that's what you need to use. But, you know, in this thing, I was, you know, started this out here a little bit ago. Yeah, follow the oil level check procedure. Almost everything nowadays is a dry sump motor, which means the engine holds just and while it's running up the temperature, only the amount of oil necessary is in the engine at any given time. And that balance can change based on how you're riding it. You know, whether you're riding it hard, you're easy, whatever. That's why, like, on these, they need to idle on level ground for 10 minutes. And the purpose of that is to balance everything, to make sure what's in the tank needs to be in the tank, what's in the engine needs to be in the engine. That's why I tell you not to blip the throttle. As soon as you blip the throttle, it transfers more oil to the engine. And you're checking the oil in the tank, not the engine. Looks like you're checking it from the engine. You're not. You're checking the tank. So that procedure is to get the tank and everything balanced out. That's why they have you idle them for a while. The twins they idled for 3 minutes on level ground. Don't touch the throttle. If you touch the throttle, you start your timer over again. And the 1330s are 10 minutes. How do I know what temperature is the right temperature? Well, they make it easy now. 15 kilometers or 9.3 miles. And but the old twins didn't say that, and they would say let it run at least 30 seconds before checking the oil. Well, people fire them up, button, they'd blip the throttle and go, oh, the oil tank's low, and they'd overfill them. So the sticker wasn't as detailed back then on the twins. Since the 1330s in 2014, that sticker is the letter of the law, so to speak. And you know, you get people, well, I haven't ridden it in 4 months. He goes, I just need to check the oil. I need to know the oil level's good. Well, here's the thing. The last time you rode it, when you looked in your mirrors, did it look like you were spraying a mosquito sprayer back there? Was there a big cloud of smoke coming out of the back? No. Okay. Well, where you parked it for the last 4 months or however long it was, is there a huge puddle of oil on the ground? No. Your oil level's okay. Take it out if you want to check it. Take it out for a 15 kilometer, 9.3 mile ride. Let her sit for 10 minutes. Level ground. It can't be, you know, on your slow driveway. Level ground. Shut it off. Check it. They usually want you to check it within a minute. Don't, you know, walk away for 15 minutes and come back. It, you know, it could start bleeding back towards the tank. That right there, I'm telling you, no tags, nothing on it, that's an abandoned vehicle. Have you guys seen people doing that with campers and stuff? How is that not getting traced back to somebody? Ooh, this thing runs nice. The alignment, if it's off, I have no way of knowing, but it's driving down the road nice and smooth. It's got almost 7,000 miles on it, and there's no sign of wear on the tires. Maybe it did come from us and it was a line. It just hasn't been in for any kind of service. But yeah, check your oil correctly. Almost everything's that way nowadays. Because one of the advantages to a dry sump motor is the engine's not slopping around and spinning in the entire volume of the oil. So it makes the engine run more efficiently, less drag. And everything's getting lubricated just like it's supposed to. It's just doing it in a stress-free environment. Plus, the actual act of transferring oil from one area to another actually has a cooling effect. Look at like race cars, like, we'll just say NASCAR, you know, they got this mass volume of oil in the trunk. And it's getting transferred back and forth to the engine. It's running a dry sump system. And that act of moving it back and forth has a cooling effect. Kind of cool, huh? I think it's cool. But this thing was throwing the same transmission codes. You remember the Sea to Sky? That remember when I took that thing home, it was the middle of winter, so it was pitch black dark when I was going home. I thought I was going to be out there with the bears and the cougars, trying to figure out what I'm going to do with this. Oh, I'm going early. Do with the spider. Anyway, got it home. Next day I brought the computer in and did the flush. Well, step one, now they can't tell you this in the owner's manual, but in the service thing for procedures, step one is to do an oil and filter change with BRP XPS oil. and oil filters. That's step one. It has to have the BRP oil in it. And then you go through this, the transmission control module has its own temperature gauge or temperature sensor, and it has to be a minimum of 60 degrees Celsius. Not the engine temperature, not the coolant temperature. The HCM module needs to see that temperature. And then you go through, good Lord, I don't know, 8 to 10 different steps you go through and test everything, and it pass. And then at the very end, there's a cleaning procedure, and then there's a back flush procedure. So it cleans it, then it back flushes any junk that may be in there, and it dumps it in the HCM filter, which will capture it and hold it until the 28,000 mile. But if you don't know, and the reason I'm okay with doing this is they called the customer and said we don't see any service records, and I think he had a friend do it, and I guess he was reading off part numbers. He had the oil, all the BRP numbers, so we know 3,000 miles ago the oil was changed by a friend or a shop or something. It wasn't himself, but it was changed with the correct oil. So with only 3,000 miles on it, you know, and the oil lasts 9,300 miles, I felt confident in doing the flush. Well, the thing's not up to temperature, so I had no way of reading the oil level correctly. So you know, I went through the procedures and everything passed in the end. And then I got everything up to temp, checked the oil, and she was like 850 cc's over. And there's 946 cc's in a quart of oil, so she was 100 cc shy of a full quart, and that is absolutely typical of the bike sitting for a couple weeks or so and checking it. It'll show about a quart low. I see that way too often, despite the big caution sticker sitting there. And if they set for quite a while, like say, you know, you don't ride in the winter at all, so it sets for months, and you do all your stuff, take her for a good ride, and fresh fuel, treated fuel, a proper battery maintainer, and so by that point they'll go, I've seen almost 2 quarts overfilled, and at that point it pushes up the tube, because there's it's a pipe that goes down to the tank that's bolted to the back of the engine. It's at basically the back of the cylinder heads above the transmission is where the little tank is. If you ever had one of these things apart, on the Riker, it's on the side of the engine, and they're cool. They're all aluminum. These are a plastic tank, which is fine. But that's where you're checking the oil. You're not checking it in the engine at all. You're checking the tank. So yeah, never overfilled. You can push seals out. We had a twin that the water pump was replaced, and the customer thought it was under, the oil level was low because they didn't test it right. I think they were new to spiders or something, and added too much oil. I think I forget what the tech said it was, but anyway, it literally pushed the oil seal from the water pump and shut, between the engine and the water pump, because the shaft goes in and it's being turned by the engine. Of course, you don't want to swap coolant and oil back and forth, so there's an oil seal there, and it pushed that seal out of its holder and into the pump because of the excessive pressure, because it was overfilled with oil. Man, I've seen like counter shaft seals get popped out and literally immediately dump the oil. Guess where the oil goes when it comes out of a counter shaft? When the seal pops out, it unloads that oil like immediately. That's kind of like leaving the 2 oil filter seals. It won't last. It will blow one of those things out. goes right to the back tire. And things get real ugly really fast then. But yeah, too much pressure in that engine starts pushing seals out. This thing's got countershaft seals. You know, there's like the head cover seals, you know, the half moon seals, the shift shaft seals. And yes, there is a shift shaft sticking out of this thing. It's not used, but it's there. Yeah, all kinds of nasty stuff can happen from that. Not to mention, makes the engine run grossly overheated. And anything that's sensitive to pressure, you could damage it. It's not a good thing. The reverse logic of them fans, man, it just blows that heat straight forward. And the cool thing about that is it's dragging it out of the engine bay as well. Lovely spiders. Man, the folks, you know, because they're still, I was talking to someone that's going to from an old twin to a 22 RT Limited. They just don't even know how much your world is about to change. That is such a drastic improvement. I mean, those old things at the time, they were really cool and all, but, you know, as with everything else, they advance. They learn a lot as time goes by, and boy, did they ever. Holy moly. All right. Now, I don't want that same person that was peeking yesterday to be peeking today. All right, I think you guys are being good today. Hope some of you weren't sneaking a peek. You must be really gentle on the brakes. She's a little squeaky. That's okay. Got there to get rough on her a couple of times. She'll clean right up. But once again, thanks for coming along for an awesome Can-Am product ride. Yesterday was a Riker, today was a Spider RT Limited. I think it's pretty though. A little loud for me, but can't deny it's very, very pretty. As long as the sun does not blast this out, you're about to see something really cool. I think our timing's going to be spot on. Come on, baby. Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah. Meeting the train in the middle. Well, hello there, YouTube. Almighty. Almost a little late coming out here. It's crazy. Just a few weeks ago, the sun would have been in our face right now. It's like 8:40. Sunsets, I don't know what it is. 8:55, somewhere around there. It's happening so fast.
I know it. Slow down, slow down.
Little dogs, they go for walks. I think I was talking about it last night at like 9:45. There's enough twilight. I didn't need a flashlight. Not now.
Change
Go out,
fast.
take them out at 10 o'clock. You know, you can see the twilight up there, but it's not bright enough to glow everything. So, anyways, such is life. The seasons change.
Yes, they do.
And we move on. I just hate it when you start to see it or notice it. Like, dang it.
Stop.
Yeah. All right. Busy day, work. Good day at work. We're gonna finish it off at that. How about that?
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. We really do appreciate it. We will talk to you tomorrow. Same smoke time, same smoke channel. Don't forget to give her a thumbs up. And you guys have an amazing Friday or Saturday.
Heck yeah. All right.
See you in the morning.
We'll see you in the morning. Friday tomorrow, too,
yes,
by the way.
Friday.
God almighty. All right.
All right.
Thanks for watching now. Bye-bye.